Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with a Coach, where I talk to graduates of the CAP Institute who are just doing interesting things with their coaching. So today I'm so excited to get to chat with Stephanie Weichert. She is, you first went through our coach training program in 2012, I think it was. Like, I remember when you were there, maybe because you're just the light, like you emanate so much good stuff. And I also remember that your husband Ken came and you had a toddler at that time. So I'm guessing not a toddler anymore. I remember them coming into the ballroom. But we met through your husband because I had the opportunity to serve with him as a part of the resilience training team for the Army. And then he's like, hey, Stephanie, maybe you should check out what Valerie's doing. So I'm so glad Ken connected us. But Stephanie, thank you for just being willing to chat and share your coaching journey with us.
It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to speak with you today. You are, I admire you so much. And you've always been, you said something about shining. I don't know, it's you who shines. It's like I said, I'm deeply honored to be able to speak with you today.
So, okay, thank you so much. You know, we can all shine. I think that's a part of like my initial intention when I launched the CAP Institute was that I really believe there are a lot of us who love to inspire, love to be a catalyst for people to make meaningful changes in their lives. And I think that is a light. I think it connects us, even for those who aren't coaching yet, but are interested in it. I think that is still there. That's that passion that we have the ability, we meaning each of us has the ability to make changes, even if they feel scary, to dream a bigger dream, to have a bigger impact. So when you decided, okay, I think I'm going to try this coaching thing. And it was that, I don't know if it was before 2012 or if CTI was the first time you did coach training, but tell me about kind of the start of your journey.
So it's an interesting for me. I know some people who might be watching this or listening to this may not be have the same faith, and that's okay. But it's a God story for me. And one day it starts at the gym. Can I give you a slightly longer version? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your grace. I went to the gym and I was helping this woman. She's the older woman. She was throwing their body forward. And as she would come back, she was slamming the machine. Well, up to this point, I don't know if you know, but I was into fitness. Mm-hmm. And I started in the fitness journey because when my husband left for war, he had a small fitness business, and it was either run it and learn to do everything in it and teach it, or it would close. And he left the day after we got married.
Because he was deployed. So you got married, and the next day he got deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq?
Iraq, that's right.
Wow. That's a whole story in itself.
It is. And you mentioned doing things afraid, man. I was afraid. I can say some of the best things come out, they come out of really getting out of your comfort zone. So, yeah.
So you're there with this woman. She's obviously not got great form.
It's so bad. And
what happened?
Okay, so I said, how would you feel if I just give you a little bit of feedback? I don't work here. I don't want anything. There's nothing. It's just, please. She said, oh, sure. So we talked a little bit about it. And her husband, he comes stomping up, seriously, like stomping. And he says, who are you? And what are the credentials behind your name to help my wife? And I thought, normally that could be a little off-putting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I began to think about it, and I thought, well, you don't want to know. Okay. And I began to think of what exactly to say. Okay. Personal trainer. You want to know that I am a certified personal trainer. There you go. And I didn't say all that, of course, I was thinking it. But I told him, and he said, oh, you have more credentials. And then he began to speak. And as he began to speak, my mind began to wander just a little bit. And especially from the point that I left that meeting, that happenstance meeting, and I drove home, I began to think of his words. What are the credentials behind my name to do what it is that I feel that God has inspired me to do? And so I came home that day. This is seriously, ask Ken if you need to. And I said, Ken, I think I need to become a life coach. I have no idea what it is, but if I'm going to do these talks and speak for people, I think I just need to have more than a BA and CPT behind my name. How do you feel about that? And he said, oh, that's great. He said, and he just so highly respects you. So immediately he recommended you for me to look you up. I did. And I think I signed up that day.
Wow.
I came the next month that the in-person training was going to happen. And I think it was at the in-person training, I signed up for the 6-month program, and then it went from there.
Wow. So you went through our certified personal executive coach program. You probably finished in like 2012 or 2013. So it's been a while and you've stayed on this journey. In our alumni Facebook group a couple months ago, you had a post about your plans to apply for your professional certified coach credential. And I was pretty excited about that. Like, I can't believe my phone's making this noise, but we are just having a real moment there. Okay. And I was just so proud to see that. So the ACC credential is the first level credential, associate certified coach, but professional certified coach is at the next level. I'm a professional certified coach. I'll be going for my MCC soon. And I was just, it really represented to me, one, what you just said, right? The credentials behind your name, that you were working towards something that represents your commitment to coaching as a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you serve at this point? How do you use coaching in your business?
So I think the very first thing coaching did for me is it helped me grow. So I don't know about any other coach that gets in, but the first thing that happened was a process that happened inside of me first. And then after I began my journey, I had deeper insight into how to help people in their journey. And I think I'm still going through that process. But I do think that
let me stop you for a second, because I think what you just said is extremely important. And we talk about that even at CTI.
Oh,
that coaches have to walk the talk. It's really not like any other career path where you could be great at that career and your life could be a mess. Right? I'm not saying everyone else is a mess, but I'm just saying, as a life coach, you really have to practice what you preach. You really have to be stretching out of your own comfort zone. You really have to be looking at your fears and habits that might need to change. And it's not that you need to be perfect, but you're on that journey and you're open to it. I think that's what I'm hearing you say. How, if there was one thing you'd point out that life coaching helped change for you, what would that be?
That's a really good question. I think when I started to connect with this idea that so much of my personal habits came up from a place of shame, it's the way I was raised, or, and maybe I was stuck in some old habits. But when I decided to take active steps toward my wholehearted self, my most authentic self. Yeah. And I try to look outward instead of inward. So I approach conversations, maybe even ones like this, where I think, who can I serve? Who can I help? And it totally opened up a different avenue for me to be able to see people differently. And when I understand that so many decisions are rooted in shame, including my own, like I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'll never, whatever that list is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just breathing, listening to what you're saying. That's real for so many people.
And so it held me back. And I think that was a part of the process when I decided to begin to let people see me for who I am, and decided that, no, it's not perfect, but it's enough for right now.
Yeah, that is so good. So now you have a combination of coaching and consulting in your business. Tell me a little bit about how you're using the coaching and then where the consulting fits into all of this.
Okay, sure. So at first, I just started with coaching clients, and when my husband when his career was just sort of made a little bit different because he was an international speaker and presenter, and then COVID happened, and then he wasn't. And so he was looking for how to, like people say, pivot. And so I had one of my clients say, he told me repeatedly, oh, I need to get my website done, but he was one of my coaching clients. And so I was very careful and very gentle about this. And I said, look, I don't want to overstep. And I recognize my role and responsibility as a coach. But if you choose to redo your website, I would love to bid on it and just be one of the people who bids on redoing your website. And so we began to do coaching specifically toward how to grow his business. And then we paused coaching actually for a little while, and I worked on his website. And so our conversations were geared more toward the website and how he wanted to reposition. And do you know that same person is doing this again because his business doubled?
Wow. So you found, okay, there's multiple ways I might be able to help these clients that I've been working with. And coaching is another tool in my toolbox, not the only one, but it's a part of what I do.
You know what? Coaching is the foundation for everything. When I realized that I don't have all the answers, and I think I came into coaching thinking I have to have all the answers, I have to know it all, and my coaching truly reflected that inner belief. And as I became more mature and a more mature, hopefully, thank you, Jesus, coach, I realized I did not have all the answers. And the very best thing I can do is trust the process. So coaching as the foundation allows me to trust other people's process that they're going through, and, trust my own process that it's going to end up okay.
I love what you said about, knowing I don't have to know all the answers. And that's really freeing. I think that's so different from other fields, whether you're consulting or mentoring, et cetera, is in coaching, we really believe that the client has the answers and our job is helping them get to the answer. But you have to internalize that because it can be very easy to want to give the answers.
Oh, I did. And I feel terrible that I was that person. But I have grown, and I am in the process of still continuing that growth.
That is so good. I am so excited for you. So just a couple more questions. For the person that's listening and kind of on the fence, should I try the coach training intensive? Should I even go further to do the certified personal and executive coach program? What are your thoughts for them about what they should be thinking about as they make their decision?
I think so many people know that this is their journey, and that's what they really desire. And so for me, I do talk about, I talk to my clients about how do you want to help? So in fact, write your how you help statement. So that when people ask you, you can literally say, and I borrowed that from Michael Port. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. But how can you help somebody else? And if in that answer you say, I want to help people, and then the rest of it comes in through bringing out the best in people, helping to help other people's light shine, helping people get the motivation and encouragement and inspiration they need to get unstuck and move forward, then perhaps you should continue to look into coaching and check out your own inner hesitation. Is it because you're stuck in shame? And if you are, and the shame thing, it's that's like a big hairy word, right? But really all it is am I feeling like I'm not enough or not worthy, or I'll never be able to take it further? And if that's what it is, start there and then begin to ask the right questions, because you will, as a coach, begin to ask better questions. And that is what this program is going to do.
So what's your favorite coaching question? Do you have one?
I think
you have several.
Yeah, I know. Like it's like the 10 questions came all at the same time, and then they try to funnel out. The simple questions are the best questions.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I used to try to come up and I had a list of my questions. And now, I mean, the latest thing I did to try to get to the PCC level, and my application is still in, I'm waiting on the results. And it can take up to, I think, like 4 months. So it just takes.
Yeah, it takes a while now. I have no doubt you'll get it.
Well, and if I don't, you know what? I'm going to try it again.
Yep.
So that's it. Um, so my favorite question tends to be the most simple question, because really what I'm looking for is having my client feel inspired about what they are saying, having them have an aha moment. And so it doesn't have to be the perfect question. It can be as simple as I've heard, sorry, I'm stuttering. I've heard what they have to say. I say it back to them in maybe different words or similar words. And then I say this, what about that? And then they go, or I could say, like, what do you think about that? Did I hear you the right way? And so it literally opens up and invites the conversation of this partnership. Yep. Did I hear them? And I think that's the one thing I want to do, is hear people well. And then the questions will be natural. And I tend to be kind of slow, kinesthetic person. So I always worry about that my questions come out a little slower. And I write everything down. And I realize awesome coaches don't do that sometimes. But I realize that that's just the way I'm wired up. Yep. And so I just take it a little at a time, reflect, feel what they've said, and then go for that next question.
You know, again, that sounds really simple, but it's very effective. What about that? It may sound like, well, what does that mean? It's creating the space for them to keep talking about it. The client's been thinking about whatever it is. You've probably been thinking about it for a long time. They're probably not giving themselves credit for just how much they know. Sometimes they're looking to say it and have a sounding board that says, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Right? Because they've been thinking it, but they have not for themselves validated that this is the way I should go, or this is a problem that I should fix, or what, whatever it happens to be. And I like that whole what about it, or even just what do you think about that? It's an invitation to think.
It is, and doesn't it like kill this thing that we have to be perfect, Valerie?
Well, we don't. Perfectionism is rooted in fear.
That's right.
And when we let go of the perfectionism, authenticity is such an important part of being a good coach. Yeah. Even when you say, gosh, I'm almost stumped. I've asked my clients before, what should I ask you right now? You know what the crazy thing is? They'll tell me.
That's amazing. It means that you've been such an amazing coach up to that point. They know what to say, because what you have been saying is now in their head.
Yeah. So the whole thing here, I think, with asking those simple questions is creating the trust and intimacy. And when a person feels invited to talk a bit more, when they feel heard, did I hear you right? I mean, we live in a world where people don't feel heard, where everyone is trying to feel heard over everyone else. And so for someone to stop and say, did I hear you right? With the intention of, if I didn't, I want you to tell me what I didn't hear, because I want to get it. That in itself puts a person in this safe space to then really explore what their options are and to be able to move forward. I love that. When you mention simple questions, my favorite simple question is, what do you want? And I'll ask that, especially when they get really tied up in what they don't want. Right? They're talking about the problem, the person. You go, well, what do you want? And it just totally changes the focus from what they don't want and what they're tired of to, well, what is the vision, right? Where is it that I would rather be? Because coaching is about moving from where I am right now to where I really want to be. So, so good. So Stephanie, I would love for you to share. I know you have a book that came out not that long ago. You've got a great website. So tell us the book, the name of the book, where they can get it, and then also your website.
Oh, thank you. The book is Everything I Would Have Said. And my website is my name. So it's stephanieweichert.com. And if you can't spell Weichert, it's like the realtors, but I'm not one. Weichert.
Awesome. It's so good to reconnect with you. And I'm just happy for where you are in your coaching journey, the success you've had in your business, adding the consulting component. You really made that pivot. And let me know when you get that PCC. I have no doubt it is coming down the pike.
You know what? I have to say thank you to the people, in CAP, and especially the Facebook group, because they are the people who did reach out to me and who did work with me, or I had the opportunity to work, with them and together. And it is the CAP Institute people that has gotten me to the place that I am. And so I just felt so like a heartfelt gratitude toward the people who responded, and ultimately the two recordings that worked out.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.